another video, and this is going to be none other than day 3 and 4 of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Yes, y'all, I told y'all I was going to cover the trial day by day, and I'm trying to do 2 days at a time, and so I am here to do that. Before we get started, let me put on my microphone. Almost forgot about that because my mic makes me sound more clear and more crisp. So give me 1 second. If it's your first time joining me, go ahead and like this video. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. All right, y'all. I'm sure y'all can hear me at this point. If it's your first time joining me, go ahead and like this video, comment in the comment section, and subscribe to the channel. Okay? Hold on, y'all. We getting it together. We getting a little microphone together. All right, y'all. So let's come in to day 3 and 4 of the Diddy trial. Okay, I'm coming out a little earlier. I was supposed to come out at 6, but I'm gonna come out a little earlier because I work tonight, so I need to go and get some rest. Okay, and so I take notes on this trial. All of my notes. I'm just gonna hold this in my hand, y'all. Every time I try to clip it on my clothes, it'll never work out for me. The notes I have gotten has been from Sidebar. Shout out to Law and Crime Sidebar. If you want to check them out and you want to get some more content, if you like legal content, they are the place to go. It is Sidebar, Law and Crime Sidebar. Okay, and that's where I'm getting my information and research from. Okay, so let's get into the things of the things. We're gonna start with day 3. Day 3. So day 3, Cassie is still on the stand, okay, giving her witness testimony. All right. So it starts off with saying that we're in a 11-year relationship, okay? And they are now questioning her on the stand on day 3. Uh-oh. My bad, y'all. So yeah, they were in an 11-year off and on relationship. And when I heard about them being in a relationship for 11 years off and on, I'm just thinking to myself, so Cassie, so you didn't know what was up with this dude? Like, I know in the beginning, what's going on, everybody coming in the room. Make sure y'all liking up the video. Hello, Crazy Brown. What's up? What's up? How y'all living? How y'all feeling? If y'all don't know what we're talking about, we are covering day 3 and 4 of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. If you don't know who Diddy is, he is a musician, music mogul, business owner. He's had his own clothing line. He's had reality shows. He's been judges on reality shows. He has been responsible for certain careers such as Biggie Smalls, 112, Faith Evans, Craig Mack, all of these big names that he has had his hand in back in the 90s and even up until early mid 2000s. Okay, he is a very influential person, powerful person, has a lot of money influence going on. Fast forward, we are now looking into his trial because he is locked up right now for racketeering and sex trafficking. Okay, so we are about to dive into day 3. I have been covering this trial and will continue to cover this trial. I already did day 1 and 2. If you missed those, they are up on my channel. Okay, so this is the trial of Diddy, Puff Daddy, whoever y'all refer to him as. Okay, so let's get into day 3. All right, so Cassie's on the stand. They have been in an 11-year relationship. Okay, when she came in the courtroom, what's up, Kelly? Welcome to the live. When she came in the courtroom, she was wearing a long gray dress. Okay, who else was in the courtroom was Diddy's mom and his sons. His twin daughters were not there because they are preparing for graduation. It is graduation season, so they had to fly home and get ready for graduation, prom, things of that nature. Okay, so they are doing direct questioning to Cassie, and the cross examination will be on day 4. Okay, so the defense, hold on, y'all. So they told us on day 3 that a defense may call Cassie's husband on the stand. Okay, y'all know Cassie got married. She is married to Alex. what is his name? Alex Fine. Alex Fine. And they said that they may call the husband because he threatened Diddy at one point. Okay. So they wanted to call him as an impeachment witness. So they basically want to call him to testify against his wife, basically. So I heard that you could not do that. I'm not sure, but he wasn't called to the stand on day 3 and 4. So I don't know if that was just rumor mill or if he's actually going to be called to the stand at some point. Okay. Um, so Cassie was asked about booking the hotel rooms for these freak offs. Okay. Um, she told the court that Diddy would so she rented these rooms under alias names. Okay. She said that Diddy's people, his staff, would pack up the hotel with hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me back up before I get to the hotel. Okay. So she said that she would book the hotels, and then she went into saying that Diddy's people they packed up guns and things like that to find Suge Knight one night. Now I don't know how that led into the hotel thing, but whatever. That's what she said. So apparently Diddy had an issue with Suge Knight, which I'm not surprised because y'all know back in the 90s they didn't really see eye to eye for one another, and so his people was really trying to go find him one night and do some damage. Right? I guess they didn't find him because of course Suge Knight is locked up right now. Okay. She was asked why didn't she fight back. So they asked, like, if Diddy was so violent and he was so aggressive and he treated you a certain way, why didn't you fight back? Right. She said that she would fight back, and when she did fight back, Diddy was surprised that she was fighting back. Okay. They showed that abuse video again at that hotel. I don't know why they keep dumbing down on that video. They already showed it. We already got what we got from the video. We know what happened with it. Okay. They also showed texts between her and Diddy. Diddy would text her and he would say, you know, call me. I got 6 kids. Call me now. Now I don't know if kids was code word for some sex workers he had or whatever he had, but he would text her aggressively saying to call him. So they're trying to paint the picture at this point that for the prosecution that Diddy was just harassing her, was violent towards her, was basically making her do the things that she was doing that we're going to talk about. Okay. So they go on into talking about an escort in the room. And the man escort that they used a lot, his name was Jules. Okay. They used them for freak offs often. Okay. She also tells us that she would have these black eyes and busted lips and everything while she was with Diddy. And he will always continue to text her and text her and text her all the time. Okay. Um, she talked about her friend Morgan, Cassie's friend Morgan. She was upset when she saw Cassie's black eye and busted lip, and she wanted to call the police. However, Cassie didn't want to press charges because she wanted to protect Diddy. Um, she also let us know that Diddy would come to her apartment, and this is all showing how aggressive he was, things that he would do, the harassments and things like that. So she said that Diddy would come to her apartment, bang on her door, harass her, things of that nature. Okay. She said she did the freak offs not because she wanted to do the freak offs, but because she wanted to make Diddy happy. She wanted to make him happy, so that's why she did it. A part of me is just like, I get it that you wanted to make him happy, but at the same time, he wasn't really holding you hostage. Like, this man isn't above the law. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I think about women who are in DV situations or in these type of relationships, I'm thinking like they're not above the law. Like, why didn't you just leave and go to the police? Or on the times after the freak offs, when you wasn't with him, go to the police and tell them, he's beating me, he's doing this, he's harassing me. And he could have been arrested a long time ago, right? But she was in love with him, and we're going to further see what I mean when I say that. Let's see. The escorts, they said the escorts were mostly hired through Cowboys for Angels. Now, I never heard of this thing, Cowboys for Angels, but that is how Diddy and Cassie hired these escorts. They got them from Cowboys for Angels. They got them from Craigslist. They got them from Backpage. They got them from all over, these escorts. Okay. Jonathan Addy name was brought up. Okay. He was interrogated for something to do with Trump, right? However, at the time when he was interrogated with something that he had going on with Trump, he revealed through the interrogation that he was a sex slave for Diddy and Cassie, which is really ironic. So he was telling them at the time that he was one of the escorts, that he was, with Diddy and Cassie, but no one believed him at the time. And fast forward, now this case comes out. Now people are going to look at him and believe him, okay? Cassie, right, booked all of these escorts. Like I said, she booked them on Craigslist, Backpage, and Cowboys for Angels. Several escorts names and locations was dropped during day 3. I cannot go through all of the names and locations, but they was freaking off all over the US, okay, and sometimes outside of the US. What else? Major Okay. So during the freak offs, this is what happened. Drugs were being used. Valium. These drugs that were being used were Valium, cocaine, alcohol, ecstasy. You name it, they had it at these freak offs. Alcohol also. Diddy would take her to sex clubs and introduce her to that, right? And keep in mind, at this time, Cassie is like 19, I'm sorry, 20, 21. So she's a young girl, right? She's thinking that she's doing all of these things to please Diddy. And I know that some people may say, well, she was old enough to know not to do these things. And she was. However, when you're in a relationship with the guy, sometimes you do stuff to please them, especially when you're young and dumb and naive and you don't really know. You're trying to make sure that you keep him in good spirits because that's your man, and you want to keep him happy. Okay. Diddy at one point mentioned blackmailing Cassie, right? He said that he would put videos out of the sex and the freak offs and things like that. She said she feared for her family. At the time, she felt like a SLUT. Y'all can spell it out, right? She felt like they're dealing with Diddy. So they were going to show the images, right? They did not show the images. The judge ruled not to show the images to the what was it, to the public, to the press that was in the courtroom, but they did show the images to the jury just to give them an idea of how the freak offs kind of looked, because they had images of that. Okay. Through Cassie's testimony, she described what the freak offs would look like, okay, through some of the through her testimony, and that's what was showed on the photos. So several photos with Cassie and escorts at these freak offs were shown to the jury. There was a photo with Cassie with baby oil on her. She said that she kept water beside her because she was dehydrated. She said in order to get through these freak offs, she would have to go through so many drugs to just get through them, because they would last for a long time, and they would end up lasting until Diddy said that's enough. Okay. We got into talking about on day 3. Now this is day 3. Kid Cudi. I ain't heard Kid Cudi name in a long time. Okay. Now his real name is Scott, but we talked about Kid Cudi. Okay. He had a conflict with Diddy. Now Diddy introduced Cassie to Kid Cudi because Kid Cudi was supposed to be on an album with Cassie, right? And so Diddy got an altercation with Cudi because him and Cassie had started dating. All right. And so Diddy didn't like that. So Diddy has sent people to blow up Kid Cudi's car. Okay. Cassie and Kid Cudi, they started off as friends, and then it turned into something more deeper. When Diddy found out that she was dating Kid Cudi, he lunged at her with the wine opener. Now, the wine opener, you know them openers that you get the wine, of course, you do down in the stout in the cork and you pull the wine out. So Diddy had one of those. When he found out she was in a relationship or that she was dating Kid Cudi behind his back, he lunged at her with the wine opener. She also outlines that Diddy threatened to release videos of her in these freak offs, and he kicked her in the back when he found out about that relationship. He also threatened Kid Cudi. Kid said he met Cassie in Connecticut when she left Diddy one time, and he stayed with her for 3 days. But he ended up breaking up with Cassie. I'm sorry, Cassie ended up breaking up with him because she feared that Diddy would do some type of harm to Kid Cudi, and she didn't want that to happen. Okay. Their breakup happened back in 2018 with Diddy. 2018. She left them because she said that he was with some unnamed woman. They and She didn't like that. She was jealous of that, right? She said that they had a farewell dinner, right? So they broke up back in 2018. He invites her out to go to dinner. He decides to have a dinner with her, like a farewell dinner. She said that they actually had a good time. He was nice to her. He took her back to her apartment, and then he graped her at the apartment. Um, and even when she was telling him to stop doing that, he still continued on with the grape. Okay. Even after the grape had happened, she still was with Diddy sexually after that. And so at this point, when I'm listening to her testimony, I'm just thinking to myself, like, what's love got to do with it at a certain point? I mean, he really had this girl manipulated and all wrapped up in his mess, and painted the picture that he loved her. And y'all gonna see in day 4 how he could possibly manipulate her into doing what he wants and being with him. In 2019, Diddy sent a message to Cassie. Diddy said he wanted his money back. So apparently he had got Cassie a trainer, and he wanted the money back from the trainer. And who was the trainer, y'all? Y'all not going to believe it. It was Alex Fine, her now husband. So her now husband was a trainer that Diddy had hired, and now he is her husband and father of her children. Now her and Alex Fine has 2 kids together, and she's pregnant right now with baby number 3. Now, this is all on day 3. This is giving an outline of just how Diddy's character. I'm sorry. Testing, testing, testing. Can y'all hear me? Because a call came in. These telemarketers, man, are getting on my last nerve. I keep blocking them and they keep popping back up. All right, I think we should be good. So, okay, where was that? March 2023. So she ended up getting with Alex Fine, father and husband, to her. I mean, husband to her and father of her children. In March of 2023, she went to rehab for trauma and drug use. She said she didn't want to be alive anymore at that point. And while she was on the stand telling that it a part of her life, she ended up getting emotional and tearing up, and I could only imagine all of the things that you went through in this relationship with Diddy. And finally, when you have a moment to go through rehab to deal with these issues, it can trigger a lot of emotions, I would assume. She said that one day she had ran into traffic crying, and she was crying on the stand. She really wanted to end her life because of everything that was happening, right? She said that she wrote a book, and the book was supposed to be just something for trauma therapy, not for a money grab. However, her book, they wanted to buy it for $30 million. Now, I don't know if it was Diddy or if it was people that was interested in her book, but they wanted her book for 30 mil. And I don't think that she sold the book, but I believe that the book is out there, or it will be published, or however it will come out. Then she testified. They asked, why is she testifying right now against Diddy? Why is she doing this? She said because it's been a lot, and it's been too long, and she wanted to tell the truth. She wanted to clear everything up. Now, that was day 3. Okay, so that was the first part of her testimony. Day 4, we get into her cross examination of the testimony. I would say day 3 and 4 was kind of just Cassie's testimony. They were trying to paint a picture, the prosecution, of how much of a monster Diddy was, but they also cross-examined Cassie and was painting a picture of that she did things on her free will. And as we get into day 4, you will see that I honestly believe that too. Like, I believe in the beginning, she was trying to please Diddy. I believe in the beginning, she was, for doing whatever he wanted. But after a while, when you realize what he was into and that it just wasn't your vibe and you didn't want to do it, why did you stay with this man? Why did you continue to participate in freak offs? Some of the freak offs she even organized and put together. And then I'm trying to figure out, why isn't she being, tried for something? She looked for these escorts. Now, Diddy didn't have no gun to her head. She looked for these escorts. She put some of these freak offs together. Why is she not being prosecuted for something? I don't know. But let's get on to day 4. If you're liking it so far, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I am covering this Diddy trial until it wraps. They are right now on day number 7, so I am on 3 and 4. I am going to get into doing my research for 5 day 5, 6, and 7 this evening, and then tomorrow I'm going to come out with day 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so we're on day 4. This is the cross-examination of Cassie. So this is the defense that is questioning her. They're trying to poke holes in Cassie being the victim. That is their job. They're trying to make sure that we understand that Diddy was a participant, yes, but Cassie was also a participant in these freak offs and other issues. So in the courtroom on day number 4 was Diddy's mom and his sons to support him in the court. Okay. Cassie had her husband, her brother, her mother and lawyer there to support her. Some of the jurors on day 4 looked like they had checked out, because they were sick of hearing Cassie's testimony, because basically they were hearing the same thing over and over again. And I understood what they meant, because as I was doing my research and as I was taking, listening and taking my notes and things like that, I'm like, get on with it. Get her off the stand. Y'all done already asked her certain questions and things like that, trying to give an outline of their relationship. And we get it, so I can understand how the jury felt. So some of the jury looked like they was, checked out, but they were still focused and engaged and taking notes. Other jurors were focused on Cassie, her demeanor and all of that, and they were taking notes. Okay. Cassie in this case, y'all, and the reason why they spent about 2 days, when we get into day number 5, I watched a little bit of it. They did, in fact, wrap her up on day number 5. But the reason that she had like 20 some hours of testimony was because Cassie is a key witness in this Diddy case. She was there for 11 years of his life while these freak offs and things were going on. So if anything, she can attest to the fact of things that were done and said. But the thing that's annoying me is the fact that I don't believe that they're asking the questions that would convict him if they're trying to convict him. Like, did you know of these drugs that were in baby oil? Did he have anyone held hostage that you know of? Like certain things like that. I mean, if you're trying to convict a man on sex trafficking, I'm sorry. Sex trafficking and racketeering. Why are you not asking her questions? Because she was there for 11 years off and on, and she saw some things, and I'm pretty sure that she has information, incriminating information, that can put him away. Right, because they said she's a key witness. So on this day they started to go through text messages between her and Diddy. And it just was a lot of text messages that they were reading. I'm just going to give y'all the Cliff Notes version, because we're not going to sit up here and go through every single text message, right? So Diddy to Cassie, he would write, he, do you love me? And she would say yes. In 2018, he sent her an email saying, no, she sent him an email saying that she's the luckiest woman, that she loves him, that she will follow him anywhere. Diddy replied to the email saying that he loves her so much that he wants to cry. 2010, she says she's going to sleep so I can hurry up and get to the next day so she can spend time with him. Cassie also said to him, love you so much, want to be in an open relationship with you, because at a certain time when Diddy and Cassie was together, they were not in an open relationship. Like it was under wraps, and it wasn't public, right? And so she was basically telling him in the text message that she wanted to be open in an open relationship with him. So they were trying to paint a picture through these text messages that they loved each other and was in a relationship. That love was not forced upon her at this point. In 2009, Diddy, that's when he introduced the freak offs to her. He asked her in the a text message, when do you want to do the freak off? And she was just like, I'm always ready to freak off. LOL. Now, she may have said LOL, but I believe that she was wanting these freak offs because she wanted to please Diddy and make him happy. So he said no, he wanted her to pick a date. And she said that Friday would seem great for me. And so that's when they had set up their first freak off back in 2009, right? Another message was, what are you thinking? Diddy would text her and say, what are you thinking? So Cassie's response was so graphic that they could not even say through my research site what the response was. Now I'm wondering, like, what did she say to him that was so graphic? Because this whole case is graphic, right? But her response was graphic, and they could not reveal what her response was. Okay, so Cassie then says to him that she wants to be more than just his girlfriend. At a certain point, she wanted to be Diddy's wife. She wanted to be like his one and only, right? Because she said at that point she felt more comfortable doing like the freak offs and doing other stuff if she felt like she was his main chick, right? She really was so naive at this point because she thought that they were in a monogamous relationship, that Diddy was not seeing anybody else but Cassie. How dumb, right? Because even if I had no idea who he was exactly seeing, the fact that he was Diddy, Kelly says she's not a victim. She's not a victim. She's not a victim. She was a willing participant, all of these things. And like I said before, I don't understand why it is that she has not been charged with something as well. She got the escorts. She orchestrated some of these freak offs. She was there for 11 years participating in the freak offs willingly, taking these drugs, doing this, even though she said with her mouth that she did not want to participate in the freak offs, she did still participate in the freak offs. Okay, so 21st birthday. 21st birthday was the first time that her and Diddy had kissed. At her birthday party, Diddy had brought Dallas Austin and Britney Spears, to name a few, that was at her party. Kelly says she needs to be in jail. I believe that too. I believe that Cassie should be doing some time as well, because through her testimony and everything, you could clearly see that she had firsthand knowledge of what was going on. So if you are setting up these freak offs, you're getting the escorts, meaning you know that there's drugs at play that could do some damage to somebody, make them out of it or whatever. You're putting on masks, lingerie, things like, you're participating in this, right? The only reason why Diddy is at the forefront, which I feel like a lot of other people that will be named through this case need to be charged with something, but because he is the more powerful one and the one with the money and the biggest celebrity, right? So as we move on, they talked about that birthday party, right? What's up, Cleveland Grant, the 19-year-old model during the same time as well. Wait, the 19-year-old model during the same time as well. Yeah, you talking about Cassie? Yeah, she was a model at when she was 19, I think. Um so that's the birthday party. Diddy brought Britney Spears, Dallas Austin, to name a few, to her birthday party. That's the first time that they kissed and everything like that. She says at that time she was modeling and she was making good money. So she's trying to paint the picture that it wasn't a money grab to be with Diddy and everything, because I was making my own type of money. Okay. They also bring up that she dated Ryan Leslie, who was an older guy too. So the defense was trying to say that she likes older men, older, powerful men. And so they brought up Ryan Leslie, which is, he's not as old as Diddy, but he's almost as old as Diddy. So they brought that up. In 2007, Cassie, hold on. Okay, in 2007, Cassie sent him a message saying that this week has been the best and the worst with you. Um, they just kept reading text after text after text was being read. It had really no direction, and at a certain point the judge was trying to figure out, like, where y'all going with these text messages, but they were trying to show the boundaries of their relationship, that it was actually a loving relationship, it was an actual relationship, and that she wasn't being forced or anything like that under the thumb of Diddy. Okay. They wanted to point out, hold on, y'all. Yeah. So they also wanted to point out that Cassie set up freak offs and was a willing participant on her own, right? They brought up Kim Porter on day 4. Cassie was jealous of the relationship that Diddy and Kim Porter had, because Kim Porter has 3 of Diddy's children. And so after, Cassie said that they would do a freak off sometimes, and then Diddy would leave the freak off to go to Kim Porter's house, and Cassie would be jealous of that. She said that Diddy would spend holidays with Kim and the children, and she didn't like that. She was jealous of that. And I'm like, what did you think was going to happen? That's his baby mom. Of course, he's going to spend holidays and try to paint the picture of a family man. Okay. So I don't understand how she was jealous of that, but she said she was jealous of Kim Porter. Cassie, Diddy was also seeing somebody named Gina. They brought that up. She said that she was jealous of Gina as well because Cassie really thought that she was the main chick, but she said that Gina was a problem in their relationship. Okay, when Cassie questioned Diddy about seeing other women, he brushed it off, didn't give her any type of anything about it, right? And so when the shoe was on the other foot and he found out that she possibly was cheating or seeing somebody else, he got a temper, flew off the handles, of course. So Diddy introduced Cassie to Kid Cudi. Already told y'all about that. And so he was really hurt when he found out that they were seeing each other behind his back. Okay. She dated Kid Cudi while her and Diddy was on a little break, okay? But while her and Diddy was on a break, and this is why I say she not no victim, and I agree with what Kelly said, and she full of crap and she needs to be in jail as well. Because while she was on a break from Diddy, dating Kid Cudi, she was still doing the freak offs. Now let that set in for a minute. Now, supposedly you ain't want to do these freak offs. Supposedly you was doing them to make Diddy happy, but y'all wasn't even together at one point because you were dating Kid Cudi, and you still went ahead with freak offs. So is it that you liked them or that you didn't like them? That's what I'm trying to understand. So anyway, after once that came out during my research, I side-eyed the mess out of her. I was like, baby, let me tell you something. You like the freak offs then. You wanted to be involved in them. Because if I'm on a break from somebody, I finally got away from this toxic person. Right, Kelly, she liked them. Okay. Cleveland said Diddy was Lori Harvey. Hold on. Diddy was with Lori Harvey. Oh, during the breakup. Yeah. And I don't Woo. I would love it if Lori Harvey might be on the stand too. She might be one of the people they call on the stand. I'm not sure. But I think their relationship with Lori Harvey, I think that relationship was so short-lived that she probably ain't seen nothing or know nothing. I don't know. Maybe she was involved in the freak off. I don't know. I cannot wait for them to start dropping the list of people that was in these said freak offs because I'm gonna need to know. Lori gets around, Kelly. You ain't lying about that. She has been with a lot of names that we know of, and it just isn't a good look. Cleveland said about 2 weeks. Yeah, their relationship was so short-lived. So I doubt that she knows anything. But shoot, in a 2-week time frame, she could have been in the freak off. We don't know. But we will see. So she said that she was with Kid Cudi, Cassie, for about a month. And then after the month, her and Diddy got back together. So my thing is this: if he's so abusive, if he's drugging you up, you don't want to participate in these freak offs, why did you go back to this guy? And this what makes me feel like you wanted this. You like the money, you like the power, you like to be seen with him. You like all of this fame, right? But then you turn around and you want to act like you're a victim up here tearing up on the stand and wiping your little eyes and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure to relive some of the stuff, she probably was crying because her husband was in the room, her mom was in the room, her brother was in the room. Could you imagine having to relive some sexual nastiness that you was in front of your husband, in front of your mother? You don't. The last thing you want to do is, if you're involved in some freaked out behavior, is have it said in front of your husband or in front of your mother. So I'm just confused at why she was crying. You wanted to be in this, right? Because you got back with Diddy after a month of after you and Kid Cudi broke up, which y'all was only together for a month. Okay. So what else was said? So when they got back together, right? Diddy had brought up Kid Cudi a lot. He brought him up and threw it in her face, especially around the holiday times, because that's when her and Kid Cudi was together. Okay. Hold on, y'all. So, and then this is when Michael B. Jordan's name becomes ensued, right? Because Cassie was working on, I think she was in the movie Honey 2. Was it Honey 2 or Honey 3? I think it was Honey 2. I'm not sure. But Cassie and Michael B. Jordan was in that movie together. And so they had some form of relationship. Now, I don't know if the relationship was romantic or platonic, right? Honey 2. Okay. She was in Honey 2. And so Michael B. Jordan, I didn't even know he was in that movie. And so while they were filming that movie, they ended up having some form of relationship. Now, they did not detail if the relationship was romantic or platonic. However, we don't know. We shall see. Okay. Um, the drugs. What's up, Patricia Smith? Sounds like you have never been abused. Learn more about the abusers. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that. So, drug use. So we get into talking about the drugs. Okay. So these questions about the drug use were trying to paint the picture that Cassie was an addict. Now, on this day, this is the defense that is questioning her. She's being cross-examined. So this is what's going on with this line of questioning. They're trying to poke holes in her relationship with Diddy. They are trying to say that she was an addict, addicted to these drugs. They're trying to say that she liked older men, that she was in charge of some of these freak offs. What's up, Yuli girl? How you doing? Welcome to the live. So they're trying to paint a picture to break down her character, and that's what they're supposed to do. You have the prosecution and you have the defense. The prosecution is going to the prosecution is going to make sure that they do damage, and they're trying to prosecute Diddy. The defense is going to make sure that they defending Diddy. So they're trying to make it seem like that Cassie was the ringleader outside of Diddy, right? Let me get this person up out of here because I don't know what her problem is. Let me walk her on up out the room. There we go. Okay. So questions about the drug use. Okay. So, um, Cassie goes and says that she had a best friend named Bonda that Diddy did not like. He did not, and Bonda actually filed her own case and lawsuit against Diddy. I don't know what happened to that lawsuit, right? But Bonda, she did cocaine and other drugs, and so, my kid, my kid is so cute. Oh, wait, what you say? My kid is so cute. What you mean by that, Yuli? Your kid for graduation? But so Bonda was on cocaine and all these other drugs. And so Diddy did not like Bonda for those reasons, right? Diddy said they said that Diddy had contacted dealers and he would tell dealers not to sell drugs to Cassie. Okay. One time they were at a ceremony or award situation. Oh, she's 8. Okay. Oh. So they were at an award situation where Diddy squeezed her leg under the table, and he squeezed it so hard that it left a bruise on her leg. And he did that because that Cassie had stolen drugs from him. In 2013, Diddy, and I did not know this. Did y'all know? Let me know if y'all know what I'm about to say. In 2013, Diddy OD'd on drugs at a freak off and had to be taken to the hospital. Now that, if anything else, was the highlight or the wow factor of these 2 days that I'm telling y'all about, was this particular thing. Because normally outlets and press and stuff, they be finding out stuff, but I didn't hear anything about this, right? So 2013, Diddy OD'd at a freak off. He had to go to the hospital. I think Cassie made sure that he got to the hospital, and they did what they had to do, and they found out at the hospital that he had OD'd. Cassie said that she used drugs to cope with the freak offs that could last for days and days on end. Okay. She said that Diddy had a lot of influence, and he was because he was in the industry, of course, with music and fashion. People would come to him all the time for advice and things of that nature. Okay. So I don't know. That was the end of day 4. Okay. And that was really the end of Cassie's testimony. Y'all will see on day 5 that I would say a few little things that they brought up about Cassie, but really they finished questioning her at the beginning of day 5 because the judge was even getting irritated, right? He did not want to roll Cassie's testimony on any longer. And I was a little annoyed because I felt like that they did not they didn't really ask the questions that could get him convicted. And I was just confused by that. It was more so they were talking about the freak off situation, which was, understandable. But what about, they're talking about sex trafficking. Did you see anybody he was holding hostage? Did you see baby oil being imported? Did you know if there was drugs in this said baby oil? Like, was anybody just look like they were out of it, being held against their will? Like, these are questions that I feel that the prosecution should have asked if you're trying to prosecute this man, and it just was not asked. And so I'm trying to figure out where their line of questioning was at. But that wrapped up day 4 of the questioning. Tomorrow I'm going to come out and do day 5, 6, and 7. We got some new witnesses that are going to be inserted on day 5. We have some other shocking testimony that they claim is supposed to be said on day 5. And so we are going to get into this case very heavily. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Shout out to the replay watchers. Let me know what y'all think about this case so far. I've already covered day 1 and 2 of this trial. If you have not seen day 1 and 2, go on my channel and watch day 1 and 2. Somebody said the state didn't represent better the Diddy defense. I know. And I'm gonna say this, Cleveland. I feel like um, the defense is doing a good job. I wish they had cameras in the courtroom as well. I really, really do. I really wish they had cameras in the courtroom, because I was thinking this was going to be like the OJ trial, because I was going to be heavily in the screen like this, And so I don't understand why they don't have the cameras. I mean, they have the artists in there sketching the pictures, because I was able to see some of the pictures, right? They have all type of press and things that they're allowing them to come in there. But I'm just like, so if you're allowing the press to come in there and the press are coming out and reporting to the public, why don't y'all just allow for the cameras to be in there? I don't understand why. It's not like, and OJ, in my opinion, OJ Simpson was a bigger celebrity. I mean, I feel like he was a little bit bigger, because sports run the world in the US. Well, they run the US basically. And so I felt like if that big name could have cameras in a courtroom, why couldn't Diddy have the cameras in the courtroom? Okay. The state has a weaker defense. Yeah. The state don't have a real good defense. This is just my opinion. I'm gonna give my prediction. I believe that Diddy is not going to serve as much time as people are thinking. Now, what they're saying is, if he is found guilty, prosecuted, he is going to possibly serve life in jail. I don't believe it's going to happen. He has a very good legal team. He has a very good legal team. I believe that they are asking the questions that's poking the holes. And Diddy is a big name. Don't get me wrong. He is a big name. But I do feel like OJ was a big name too. And I feel like OJ's case was even more crazy, because he was being accused of murder. And so I don't see why the cameras was there for him and not for this. But we have different generations, right? So they come up with all this stuff in this generation. Oh, this is triggering, or this is this and that, and everybody's so emotional and really, some punks in this generation. So it could be a reason why they're not allowing for the cameras to be in the courtroom. But it's not like they're not showing images and freak off videotapes. They're showing it to the jurors, because they're the ones that have to come up with their verdict. But it's not like they're showing the press. So I don't know. That's really weird to me. I wish they had that. But my prediction, I don't think he's going to get life. If anything, I feel like he might get like 10 years, 10 years at best. Y'all give me y'all predictions. I feel like he's going to get 10 years. I don't feel like, because if you think about what he's being accused of and the line of questioning so far, okay, I thought it'd be like the OJ trial. I did. I thought it would be like the OJ trial too. I really, really did. And I couldn't wait for May to get here. I was like, I'm going to be watching it, but they didn't allow the cameras. When you're trying to prove someone has done some sexual acts, has did some sex trafficking and all of that, you have to prove these things. You have to prove that he actually held people against their will, that he drugged people, that he did all this stuff. How do we know that these people in these freak offs were not willing participants? And this is what makes it seem like it's going to be difficult to kind of get him a conviction. Because I mean, we could go based off of hearsay, but at the same time, I mean, some people might have been down for the party. I think some people might not have known how freaked off the party was going to get, but some people might have been down for the drugs and the party. Cleveland said 10 years, get out, 2 years for good. Yep, time mopping floors. I believe that too. He must have good lawyers for 10 years. Yeah, he has a good look. Diddy still got some money. I know he paying them some good money. And I'm not saying he getting 10 years, but that's just my prediction. I feel like he's going to get 10 years at best. And like Cleveland said, he's going to end up having good behavior and they're going to let him out sooner than that. We already know how it goes with these celebrities, right? They never really serve the time that they should. The celebrities that I'm shocked at that's still in jail serving time, and I think they made examples out of, is R. Kelly and Suge Knight. Suge Knight, I don't think he ever getting out. R. Kelly, I don't know. He might not be getting out for a long time either. But I was surprised when R. Kelly got the time that he got, because I was like, well, dang. But see, R. Kelly's was different because he was dealing with minors. And I think when you're dealing with minors, that is something that's totally different. The people at these freak offs with Diddy and stuff were full-fledged adults. Not that I'm saying that that means that what he did wasn't messed up. However, you are an adult and you can make your own choice and decision. Because there's an artist, a gospel rapper, right, named Lecrae. The doctor from Michael Jackson only got 2 years. Dag, wow. Yeah, and that's what I mean. So there's a rapper, a gospel rapper named Lecrae, and he came out and said that he actually went to a Diddy party before, right? Now I don't know why a gospel rapper is at a Diddy party, but I digress. So he said he went to a Diddy party and they told him that you want to make sure you leave before 1 a.m. And so he was just like, man, I could stick around. I mean, if y'all doing something at 1 a.m., that's not going to involve me. Now, if somebody is telling you, look, get out of here before 1 a.m. because it's going down, why would you stick around for the go down? So my theory when he said that, when I was listening to his take on the Diddy party, the minors was willing. The minors was willing. The minor the minors were willing, because don't get it twisted. Some of these kids that's 15, 16 years old, they be down with the stuff, right? And their parents even further be like, that's so and so, and you don't want to look at it in that dark light, but it's true. Some of these kids do be down for the mess. But in the eyes of the law, you're messing with a minor, that yeah, you're going down. But Lecrae's story, they told him to leave at a certain time. He didn't leave at a certain time. So he says that, he began to see some stuff. He began to see two men kissing. He began to see some people in the corner, things like that. And I think at that point, maybe he decided that he was going to leave, but I would have left before then. So from his story, I felt like, okay, if he was told to get out at a certain time, were these other people told y'all need to leave at this particular time if you're not trying to be a part of the after party? So that's what makes me feel like, to prove that he took advantage of people and they were not willing participants in the freak off, is going to be a hard thing to prove, in my opinion. And this is why I feel like he's not going to get no life in prison. Cleveland said nothing happens well after 1 a.m. Right, like Mike Tyson trial. Yes, absolutely. After 1 a.m. My mom always told me after midnight ain't nothing open but legs. So it's like, look, she said legs is something else, but primarily legs. And so she was just like, listen, get in this house, because my curfew when I was in high school was midnight. And it was a party one time and I wanted to stay out later. And she was like, get in the house. It's midnight. Ain't nothing open but legs and something else, she said, at midnight. It's just trouble out there after that hour. Anyway, so get in the house. Right. And I didn't understand it then. I thought she was a hater and trying to rain on my parade. But now, fast forward as a adult and understanding how it feels to be a parent, my mom was right on point. Be at home when the street lights come on. Absolutely. So we gonna see about this Diddy trial, what happens. Tomorrow I'm going to give y'all day 5, 6, and 7 of the trial. Today I think they were on day 7, so tomorrow they're going to be on day number 8 of the trial, but I'm going to report on 5, 6, and 7 just to catch up. Yeah, Lecrae, Kelly, he said he did go to a Diddy party. He said he was not a part of no freak offs or nothing like that, but someone did tell him that you might want to leave before 1 a.m. or at 1 a.m. because after that it's going down up in this piece. Basically what they told him. And Lecrae was like he didn't leave at 1 a.m. or he was still walking around. And yeah, he saw some things. But he said he wasn't involved in no freak offs or nothing like that. He just saw some things. But I'm like, Lecrae, they gave you a warning. Get the heck out at this time. And that's why I feel like they also gave other people warnings. Like, you can't tell me that you're at a party, you're at a day party, and you are at a celebrity's house. You're at this party. Now, if you are fortunate enough to get to this celebrity house, you are pre-warned that it's going to be some stuff that going down. What's up, Sprout? Yeah, mama, mama was right on. Mama was right on. You can't tell me you go to a celebrity's party and that you don't have no idea what's going to happen or what they're about at a certain point. You absolutely do. So when these people are coming out here saying that this was happening, freak offs was happening, listen, if you a freak, you a freak. If they was involved in these sexual activities and doing drugs and stuff like that, that was their thing. They was in it. It's not a crime to be a freak, right? The crime comes in when you are drugging people against their will. They don't have any idea, when you're holding them hostage, when you're doing all types of things, right? And so Diddy may just be a nasty freak that likes men and women, that likes drugs and likes to party, right? And his way of partying. And so because of that, that's not a crime to do said things, right? And so when they're holding him for sex trafficking and racketeering, they're going to have to really prove that, because who did he hold hostage? That's what I want to know. Who did he sell into something else, into a sex ring? That's what I want to know. They're saying that he got escorts and flew them in from different places, sex workers. And then, like I told y'all on day 2, he said that the sex workers were not for sex. They were for their time and experience. I was like, that's a lie, because if you fly a sex worker in, they're charging you for the time they're there, and their experience is going to be doing the sex. So I'm trying to understand why they trying to act like the sex workers came in like they was just doing some internship and showing him what to do. No, they were involved in the stuff as well, right? What happened to Usher? I don't know. I feel like now I don't know if Usher is going to be somebody that's going to be called on the stand. Ooh, that would be so interesting, because you can't tell me that Usher was not involved in some type of way in the Diddy life as well. You cannot tell me. I 100% believe that something happened with Usher. I believe that Usher is suppressing things that happened to him when he was younger. We already see the effects of Justin Bieber, what happened to him when he was younger. We already know that that light that was in him as a child and how we knew him dimmed out real quick when he became like in his early 20s, because he saw some things, dealt with some things, and I believe he was SA'd under the hands of possibly Usher and possibly Diddy. And this is all allegedly, this is all what I think, but something happened to him. Something happened to him. Something happened to Orlando Brown. A lot of these stars and things like that. And I don't know if through this case, all of those things are going to come out. But I believe there's going to be some stuff that comes out that we're going to have our mouths open like, what? So, we'll see. We'll see. But I'm going to be here and I'm going to be reporting on the trial so far, since they won't let cameras come in the The courtroom. Ooh, I wish I was in New York right now because the trial is in New York. Child, let me tell you something. I would be outside that courtroom and I would be doing my reporting outside that courtroom. I'm telling you, because they're letting press in, right? And the press are the ones that are giving the sauce when they come out. However, YouTubers like myself, content creators, things like that, they're not letting them in unless you get a press pass or unless you are like high on the subscriber mode, or somebody like maybe Tasha K or something like that. They may let her in or may let her get a press pass. However, I would still be down there just to see if I can get a glimpse of the family going in, if I can possibly get to talk to one of the reporters that was in the courtroom or something like that. Like I would try to get in there if I was in New York right now. And it's crazy because you do see some people outside of the courtroom. On day number 5, I watched a little bit of that and reported a little bit of that in my notes. And the reporter was saying that there are people outside of the courtroom trying to get shots of the family. There are people outside that are selling t-shirts that says free Diddy. And so people are out there, trying to get in the mix, trying to see some things and all of that. And so I probably would have went a day or two if I was in New York to try to get and see what's going on as well. Diddy rocking his gray hair, absolutely, and that's because he don't got no dye up in there. You can't tell me that he was not dyeing his hair. I believe that Diddy was dyeing his hair out here, still trying to maintain that image of him looking a little younger and everything like that. But now that he locked up, he can't really get access to no dye and access to having the swag on that we normally see him with, right? And so y'all let me know what y'all think about this case. I firmly believe, like I said, my predictions is that he's not going to do no more than 10 years, and he probably going to get out for good behavior or something like that earlier than that. And yeah, he going to be out. And I don't know. Or the flip side of that, they can make another example of him and actually convict him and give him life in jail. Could you imagine? Wow. Wonder Biggie rolling his grave. I don't know. I mean, I think Biggie knew something was up with Diddy too, because I believe he was trying to get off of the Bad Boy label before he died. I believe that Diddy maybe even he saw some stuff with him, or maybe he tried him, or I don't know what it is. And then my thing too is that these people, especially the men that says that Diddy did this to him or tried him or whatever, what kind of man are you that lets another man even put his hand on you, give you a massage, even attempt to try you, even look at you for too long? Because I know my husband, if a man rubbed on his back, you're going to get punched in the throat. Like it's not going to end the way you think, right? I think I was 2 when he died. You were 2 when Biggie died? Oh wow. I think when Biggie died, I was 14. I think I was 14 when Biggie died. I think 13 or 14, one of them. But yeah, man, and that was a shock. It was a shock when Tupac died. Like, really, we was just like, you gotta be kidding me. And then when Biggie turned around and died, after him, we was just like, what is going on? And so I think the government really tried hard to paint it as some East Coast, West Coast rivalry situation that was going on. They tried to say that uh Suge Knight had something to do with it and all of that, but nobody was really looking at Diddy. And I believe Diddy has something to do with Biggie's death. I really believe that. Like, you can't make me not believe that. It was in 97. Okay, 97. So yeah, oh dang, he died in 97. So I was 15. Yeah, I was 15 when Biggie died. So yeah, and I remember that, and I was like, "Dang, you gotta be kidding me!" Because back in the 90s, because I'm from DC, and so if you were like northern back in the 90s, like our radio stations was bad boyed out, like Mary J. Blige, 112, Biggie, we played some Tupac and stuff like that too. But Bad Boy, the artist on there total was all on our radio stations, like all the time. And so when you think about the influence that Bad Boy Diddy had on the music industry back in the 90s, like it would just, you just be like, wow, he really had his hand in a lot of these artists, right? And to fast forward and know that he was like a freak doing all types of stuff, and now he on this trial. And that's why I kind of was like, I gotta talk about this, I gotta report on this, because this was my years of being a teenager. Like, this was my soundtrack to my teenager. Like, I remembered Bad Boy, the music, everything. And so to know that he was heavily involved with a lot of nasty stuff, it's just got me like, are you kidding me? So yeah, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here to report it. I'm gonna be here to give y'all the sauce of it. And if y'all liked the content so far, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that you can be able to have front row seats to everything that I gather through my research from this case. If you have not seen 1 and 2, go on my channel and watch day 1 and 2, and it will give you some insight on the day 1 and 2. So this was day 3 and 4. Tomorrow I'm going to come out and I'm going to do day 5, 6, and 7. Okay. I love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me for this recap of day 3 and 4, and I'm going to be out tomorrow. Make sure y'all smash that like button before y'all leave the room. Smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And when you are subscribed, make sure you hit the notification button. The notification bell lets you know when I go live. So make sure that notification bell is on and you hit the thumbs up button before you leave the room. I love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me, being here with me. And y'all let me know what y'all think. Replay watchers, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Smash that like button. Smash it on up. It lets YouTube put me out in the algorithm. And I will see you all on tomorrow. Bye.